You don't have to have a story. You don't have to have an idea. Just connect with that moment, and maybe you'll write crap, but you'll write.
Is that why you love writing poetry? The rhythm of the writing? The rhythm of the word?
Well, the rhythm is the rhythm of the voice. I mean, that's the rhythm of the deep voice speaking to someone else in a very intimate way and connecting with him, you know. I talked about my dog, Jessie, who she had cancer and we had to put her down. It's in one of my books. I like different sizes. I like, when I'm doing a book, I like to think, what size do I want it to be? Like Lucky Finds with all the cards. Now, most of my books are going to be, you know, the normal size of a book. But once in a while, I'm curious. So, like, I did a book of haiku,
Oh, yeah.
and I wanted it to be a flip book. So I thought it would be about that thick, and it would be 50 haiku. But it ended up, I wrote 300 haiku, and I wrote a introduction that was close to 450 pages.
Oh.
So it's got a 450-page introduction, and then it's got 301 haiku. And the introduction is, what does it say here? It says, in 201 chapters and 601 paragraphs. So the little book I was going to do ended up being like that, and it kind of grew. So I kind of like different things. This book is a smaller book too, and it has I think of it as a circus. The poems are all different, and I have a Chagall painting in the front, and on the back it's got a Rumi quote: "With passion pray, with passion make love, with passion eat and drink and dance and play. Why look like a dead fish in the ocean of God?" Rumi. So I have a poem in here that is about my dog, Jessie. This is not an earth-shattering poem. It's just about my dog, Jessie, who we had to put down. Jessie, my dog. I was driving back from a music recital this evening and found myself cruising down a street I used to frequent 30 years ago, but haven't driven down since. So many of the places I used to go to are gone. A favorite Italian restaurant, now a fitness center. A bookstore, now an antique store. A cafe where I read most of 100 Years of Solitude, now an ice cream parlor. It isn't as if I was planning to go to any of those places, but it makes me sad to know they're gone. It doesn't really matter. I'm 72 years old. A lot is gone. It's all going to go eventually. By the cafe, a boy was walking his dog along the sidewalk. One day the boy will be gone, along with his dog. My dog is gone. Jessie used to lie by my feet as I sat at the computer trying to write a poem. She's gone now. No more Jessie. After I'd written the poem, I'd take Jessie out for her midnight walk. Sometimes we'd pass a house and the people inside might still be up, sitting at the table, talking and drinking. But mostly the streets were quiet, and she and I would enjoy the night air, the way the leaves rustled when a wind came up from the ocean. Maybe a poem would be buried in someone's front yard, and Jessie would dig it up and bring it to me, like a bone she'd just found. That poem about the man in charge of watering, Jessie dug that one up. She just dug it up and brought it to me. "What you got there, girl?" She dropped it on the sidewalk, then trotted off, looking for more poems, more bones. No more bones now, and few poems to be dug up except this one, which is torn at the edges, and I've stopped caring about the line breaks or the metaphors or even the kind of things a poet is supposed to do when writing a poem, making everything ship shape. No more bones, no more ship shape. I'm not even sure you are reading this poem right now. Maybe no one is reading it. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter, you know. I write the poems anyway. Jessie will come back some night, take my poems on our walk, and bury them in someone's front yard. And all I'll have to do in my remaining years is walk my weary bones down the sidewalk and dig them up. Dig up those poems that Jessie buried. My good girl, dog, taking such good care of me then and now. Jessie won't be with me, but I'll thank her. Give her a good rub on the back. Then I'll let her go. So that's about my dog, Jessie.
That's beautiful.
So it's not so much rhythm as the voice, you know. Sometimes there are rhythmic things you can do, and that's part of your technique. So it depends. If I'm doing to be read and sung, you know, the repetition, then I would do that, you know.
It's also about loss and change, you know. You
mean
talked
that-
about walking down the street and this restaurant isn't here anymore and this bookstore has changed.
Well,
And
it's about, I'm 70, I wrote that when I was 72. I'm 78 now. So I wrote that 6 years ago. It's about thinking, you know, as I said, my dad died when he was 54, and I always thought I would live longer than he did. So, you know, when I wrote the poem, I was 72, and, you know, I'm feeling older. Your bones, your body, you don't, you know, I can't dunk anymore. You know, I can't throw a football 70 yards. And so you also think of what you can't do as an artist, that you're getting older and things are going to be gone. You're going to lose things. Friends will die and loved ones will leave. And I was just thinking about that and feeling all that. And that Jessie was gone, but I thought of how she would bury my poems and then dig them up, which is a metaphor, of course. And that eventually I'd pet her and let her go. That at some point, the poems don't come anymore. And the muse that brings you the poems, whether it's your dog or the muse or whatever, that will end too. And you have to let it go. You have to give them a pet and let it go. Whether it's a poem or a lover, a loved one, friend, whatever.
what do you mean by the muse won't come anymore?
Well, the muse, you know, I don't believe in the muse, but I'm just using that cliche that, you know, poets they sit and write and the muse comes and gives you the poem. I don't believe that. I believe that the muse is in you. But I just use that cliche as a kind of the idea that you'll be sitting at your desk and nothing will come to you anymore. You know, the muses will say, you know, we got to work with this guy in Chicago. He's just 20 years old. He's just starting out. You know, take care of yourself, Jack. So I use that cliche that the muse won't come anymore. You won't have it. What an athlete can lose it, a writer can lose it. You never know.
But can you lose it for a while and get it back? I know the writer's block, but is that really that the muse won't come anymore?
Well, look, but we're getting into technicalities here. I don't believe in writer's block, okay? I can write a sentence. Hemingway once said, when he had writer's block, he said he would write this down. You've done this before. You can do it again. All you have to do is write one true sentence. He didn't mean true factually. He meant a sentence that was authentically spoken and real and not trying to be a writer and not trying to gussy it up, just saying the simplest thing you could say. You've done this before, you can do it again. All you have to do is write one true line. Well, I don't have writer's block. You know why? Because here's what I write. I got up this morning at 7 o'clock. I don't feel like writing today. I don't have anything to write about. It looks like it's going to rain, and later I have to go to Ralph's to get a chicken. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what I'm going to write about, but I don't care. I'm going to write. Well, I don't feel like writing. I have nothing to write about. I feel like I have writer's block, but of course I never have writer's block. I don't know what it is, a big wooden thing inside my head. I mean, just write. You don't have to have a story. You don't have to have an idea. Just connect with that moment, and maybe you'll write crap, but you'll write. I don't believe in writer's block. I don't believe in the muse and inspiration and all of that stuff. I believe in the mechanics of art. I believe if you know how to hit a golf ball and you know how to shoot a basketball and you've practiced it 1,000 times, then even if you're not in the mood, you can pick up the damn ball and shoot a hoop. I can pick up the damn club and hit the ball. Maybe I can only hit it 10 feet because my bones are old and I'm tired, but I can do it. I don't have to have, I need to be inspired to play golf today. Imagine if a professional athlete said, I only play when I'm inspired. You know, there goes that $1 million contract.
Why do people call themselves blocked writers?
I don't know. I'm not their therapist. They're operating under an illusion. They're not very professional. Yeah, if I get an injury, I don't go and play that day. But if I'm not injured, I play. I don't feel like it, but I play. Because I got to play according to the schedule. So I can get up and write. I've done it before. I can do it again. All I have to do is write one true line. I got up this morning at 7 o'clock. I don't feel like writing today. As a matter of fact, I have nothing to write about. It looks like it's going to rain. And later, I got to go to Ralph's to get a chicken. Blah, 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 blah. It's not magic.
Do you think people romanticize being a blocked writer? Makes them more tragic, makes them...
Maybe.
Get some sympathy?
Maybe. But if they write about it, that would be good.
There you go.
See, if you write about it, you know, I feel blocked today. All right. Write about it. I just think, you know, if you can physically hold the pencil or type at your keyboard, you can write something. But what happens is when you think of your product and your outline, how am I going to get from point A to B in my outline? Oh, where am I going to start? And what happens when the door closes? And, oh, God, I have writer's block. I don't worry about that.